The video that you're about to watch is an excerpt from a live webinar. If you enjoy the contents of this video, please like and subscribe. I'd love to hear your comments. Thanks for watching. We'll take a quick look at these charts and then we'll dive in. We've got the absolute field of being down there, 7 and 8, and then the 1 through 6 are the manifest levels of creation. Obviously, we're looking at levels 3 and 4 today in this webinar on the mental and emotional body. But I realize that as clear and concise as this chart is, it does leave something to be desired. So I had the boys make up another chart for me. In this chart, the main thing that this chart shows, you see it's the same chart, essentially. I stuck the aura in there too, and I could have stuck in little segments between each of these, actually, but I didn't. But anyway, what it shows is that each of these bodies, the range of each of the bodies is all the way from the material level all the way to the absolute level. So the causal body ranges from here to here. It stays close to the absolute field of being. And the astral body ranges from here to here. And so the causal body is the root of the astral body, but the astral and causal body are the roots of the emotional body, and the astral, causal, and emotional bodies are the roots of the mental body. So the range of the mental body is all the way from here, all the way down to the source of creation like that. It covers the whole thing. And that was, I think, the most important point of this particular chart, why I wanted to show it to you, because unlike the other chart that sort of indicates that each of the bodies has its own little separate range within the field of expression, this one shows that all the bodies are really, really intimately tied together and connected, and they're all anchored back and connected to the source of creation. And as I pointed out yesterday, and now I have to come back to me to show you the next part, this chart could have lines that go this way as well, because all of those bodies are connected or anchored in like that to the source of creation. We generally refer to our thought stream as our mind and the flow of our feelings as our emotions. How are our thoughts different from our mental body, and our emotions different from our emotional body? And how does the perception of these bodies differ from the perception of their contents, which is basically the same question. And yes, thank you for presenting it from different angles. I love that. This is the multifaceted field of perception here speaking. This also segues into relationship between senses of perception and physical bodies. And this in turn brings us to the differences between our bodies and our perceptions at any level, gross and subtle. What is a causal or astral perception versus the causal or astral bodies? Okay, so awesome question. We can think of these, let's go back to the chart, shall we? These are points of perception, essentially. So we can perceive, because they're anchored to wholeness, and wholeness, this ocean of being, I could have used, as I said yesterday, I could have used 100 different words down here. Source of creation, all home of all the laws of nature, transcendental being, transcendental wholeness, totality, Brahman, etc. But the point is that this ocean of being, or ocean of pure divine being consciousness, is all of this. It's all of the entire field. It is all the unmanifest, and it is all the manifest. So it's really just one big one. It's just one. The whole thing is one. Okay. So what we do as human beings is our awareness moves around independently, and we have the autonomy to move it as we wish. And so we can anchor our awareness anywhere along the spectrum. So I can place my awareness very much in my physical body. If I'm dancing, or I was out gardening before I came in to be with you guys, or taking a walk, or whatever, then the awareness becomes very much in the physical, and we're just feeling. If you get sick, your awareness goes very much into the physical structure of the body, because you need to have awareness just on the body to heal it. Then the etheric body is a point of perception. And the etheric body, when the awareness is in the etheric body, one of the things that we notice in this area are how the experiences in the moment open up and relate to virtual experiences, like the stories that we tell ourselves, stories and dreams and ideas. The etheric field is the dream state. And so the field itself is the dream field. And so stories begin to unfold there. And as we know, in the material world, our lives are like a series of small stories inside a big story. And then all of our individual life story, our one big individual life story, is within the story. It's a small story within the context of the universal story that's taking place. So all very interesting. The mental body. The mental body is the container for the perception of the world. This is, again, tends to be a little bit more outwardly directed, the mental body, and it puts together through inference and logic and reason and even sometimes what we call wisdom, just based on what you know and what you've known and what's happened in the past. We're looking at the past and future, and we're kind of understanding how the laws of nature are showing up in the present moment. And the mental body is the container for that type of behavior to occur. So the thoughts are the movements of consciousness or awareness that are taking place within the container of the mind. And in the same way, the feelings and emotions here. Oh, and then at the subtle level, we did this yesterday, at the subtle level of the mental body down here at the bottom, as we come toward the emotional body, there starts to be a marriage between all of these capabilities of the mind, like to be able to infer or to be able to recognize sequences of patterns. That's another thing that the mental body does. It's so beautiful how it helps us understand reality at larger dimensions and levels, because we can look at the small, what's going on at an individual level, and then we can extend that idea of that pattern or that kind of sequence or unfoldment of laws of nature to larger areas or smaller, whatever. Anyway, those qualities conjoin, they marry, and they come together with the heart and with the emotions and with the way that the heart is the vessel for. It's the point of perspective that allows us to analyze or understand what's happening in the moment without judgments, without preconceived ideas. There's something very, I want to say, like unconditional acceptance of what is in the heart. The vessel of the heart allows us to innocently just get it. We just innocently get what's going on. It's very beautiful. But when that innocently getting what's going on and feeling the subtler feelings, and I have something else I have to say about that, but I just want to complete this idea on intuition. When the mental body abilities and the emotional body abilities come together, we get intuition. It's the marriage of those two that allows us to not only be recognizing sequences of patterns, but also recognizing the feelings within them. All right. Yes, we need to talk about perception in this field here. And so I'm going to go back to me so I can use my hands. And emotions, we think of them in terms of feeling them, but they can also be seen and heard. Music is the language of feeling. Music is a code. It encodes feelings. It always has. It not only describes the feelings that are going on at a particular time, it also defines them for us. So we can hear emotions, and you can hear them. You can hear them in music. If you're listening to a musician who knows what they're doing, worth their salt, then you will know what the feeling is in the music without it bypasses the language function in the brain. The mental body, it goes mental, etheric, emotion, physical. We get more to the speech and the meanings of words, but in the heart, the music just flows. And same. Remember the aura? Remember the aura down here? Oh, we got to go back and look again. So yes, here, the aura are the colors of the feelings. And I was really, really thinking about this because I stuck this aura thing in here and, I was having regrets later. And why did I even do that? But the point that occurred to me was that actually the aura is the evolving emotional body as seen through color, as understood through the sense of sight. The emotional body, when we perceive it through sight, we see colors. And for those of you who are sensitive and see auras, that's what you're seeing. When you see those colors, you're seeing the emotional body evolving and moving. You see it doing what it does best. And then we get down to the astral body here, and the colors in the emotional body are like, you can see any of the colors of the rainbow and sometimes real subtle colors and stuff like that. But as we move closer and closer to the source of creation, which is why I made this chart lighter toward the bottom, at the astral level, we don't tend to see as much colors. We tend to see more just the movement itself, just the movement, the flow of evolution. All right. So yes, the senses of perception can function at the gross material level, and then they can function at the subtler layers of self. And the different bodies, if we want to call them that, are the vessels, and they provide a point of perspective. So if we're looking at the world purely through the emotional body, we experience the world as sequences of color patterns and feelings and relationships between pitches, right? Notes like that. And then at the astral body, it's very much the tapestry and the lattice work of consciousness. It's very kind of structural. It's very structural. And at the causal level, it's all life force. It's all life force down at the causal level. So perception, when you find yourself in the company of angels, when you find yourself in a field of pure light where all the beings are light beings, then this is the causal level of one's own body. This is your causal body. This is yourself.